be a quick rebut to this Huffington Post cover story article where it says tall white Nazi space aliens are not, we repeat, not invading. Well, of course they are not, you repeated, not invading, because they've already have invaded. They're already here. They're already assimilating. Many have already been assimilated. You know what I mean? Even, Barack Obama might be a possible byproduct of such. You see what I'm saying? For all that we know. But let's get off of Obama for a moment and get on this article here. So Huffington Post is playing its part. What do we mean by Huffington Post playing its part? We go into this in a little more detail, but we thought that we just would post up a vid just to this title here, where they tall white Nazi aliens are not invading. Why are tall Nephilim, so-called white Nazi aliens or fallen angels not invading? Because they've already here. They've already been here for more than 1945 it said, but actually they said from the 30s. They've already been here for a good moment, and according to the scriptures, they were here even back, after the beginning. They were here after the beginning, and now they have returned before the end, right? And now what they're seeking to do is to debunk this as the craziest conspiracy theory, but actually it's the most obvious. This shows how much we've been dumbed down and hoodwinked and bamboozled, right? That most would dismiss this like as a goofy, space aliens. While it's the only thing that explains that which, especially lost, found, black, and brown keep asking why? It actually explains the whole thing. Is the white man the devil? This also kind of explains, is the white man the devil, right? Question, are there tall white Nazi space aliens? Right? Or as in the original article over here, okay, this has actually shifted. Let's go right here. This is from Forbes, right? Forbes magazine, right? Let's go. Let's back this up right here to the Forbes article, right? The Forbes article, okay. Here we go. So we looked up the tall white space aliens. So Forbes seems to be the first one. Snowden explains why we miss aliens, right? Right here. Iran and Russia still convinced America is controlled by aliens. It's amazing that we are so unconvinced. And we wonder why certain people don't seem to have even that human gene to understand, the persecution and downpression that the once lost, now found black and brown sheep of the house of Israel face. Why there's that disconnect, why there is that disconnect. All right. So we see there's all of this and there's all of that. But what's the real connection right here? The real connection is white supremacy and racism. That's the real connection right there. They have all those studies that say that as babies, generally speaking, as babies don't know this whole racial thing, but it's something that they learn as they grow. That may or that may not be true. Now, ones will disbelieve it or debunk it or seek to debunk it. But then we have things like this right here. Right? I mean, they did this in their movie, right? Right? This was a part of their movie, right? Prometheus. So we'll watch it in movies. We'll see it repeated in movies and speculated in movies and in TV shows. And this is like this, remember this movie right here? This was from, Twilight Zone, right? To Feed Man, right? That was Lurch, the one who plays the character Lurch in the Addams Family, of all things. Lurch in the Addams Family. So you see right here, that's the episode right there, To Serve Man. You'll recall that one right there, To Serve Man. right? To serve man. That was a very interesting episode right there, Twilight Zone. And that's from back in the past. All right, that's an episode back in the past where they was telling people or trying to tell people, right? And it's that disconnect. And so we have the one from back in the past, and then we have this one here, and then as soon as we say, hey, what's up, with this whole white connection, white supremacy, these tall white Nephilim, you know what I mean? And then when they tell us about people who say that they are contacted by aliens, right? How do they describe these aliens to us? They describe the very same thing, right? And the aliens want to help and so forth and so on, but then it's like kind of dubious. They want to help, but then like even in the movies, on one hand they want to help, but then they really are like deceptive, they're devious, so forth and so on. It's like the whole as above, so below. You see some of these kind of pictures right here where they say, are aliens guarding, the president, right? And some of the videos, some people say it's just a video, it's a pixelation. I don't know about that. If it's just so-called pixelation, when they show things like this too, right? The Greys, the Pleiadians and all of that, rah, 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 it's still the same imagery. We still keep seeing the same imagery, right? So for us now to say, well, you know what? This is what the Bible is talking about, the Nephilim. This is what it's talking about, the fallen angels. This is what it's talking about, the devil and the seed of the serpent. Then people will say, oh, you're being racist. Well, I guess in order to interpret the Bible, it will seem like you're being racist if you really interpret the Bible correctly, because the word race means seed, right? It means that there will be a particular seed that will be fighting against the seed, right? The seed of the serpent will be against the seed of the woman, right? This is an interesting one right here. This is a very interesting one right here. You see this one, right? This is on Free Republic, right? On Free Republic. Instead of to serve man, you can see on the cover of the book, it says to serve crackers. To serve man, to serve crackers. Wasn't that what Hitler was looking for? Hitler was looking for this perfect, right? This perfect race, right? This perfect tall and white and blonde and blue-eyed and, So when we look at the scriptures, the historical scriptures and, whether we say the Bible or even the Kryan talk about the blue-eyed and the Bible and the Kryan and even much of the, Torah and the ancient and Judaic and Jewish, it all basically is saying the same thing, right? But see, they like to use the word aliens instead of using the word fallen angels. See, that's where the disconnect come from, right? Instead of using the word fallen angels, right, they would say these are angels these are aliens who have come down. See that little deception right there? They said there's no such thing, they'll say, as angels, but these are aliens, right? And the angels don't come down from anywhere because they say they don't exist, but these are aliens that come down, right? These are aliens that come down, and they come to help man, right? To serve man, right? To serve crackers, the Kraken, release the Kraken, right? This is what we learned from their media. This means these are the thoughts that are going on in their heads. And if we got some of these thoughts going on in our heads, well, no doubt it's because we picked it up from this global deception, right? Do not feed the aliens, right? That's the whole thing. Do not feed, do not become food, for the serpent. And even going to the alien movies, the whole alien movies, the elongated heads, so forth and so on. And the alien conspiracy, we have it there in the scripture from the book of Enoch is particularly interesting. We go into a little bit on the book of Enoch. All right. But we see it all over. All right. This is what they show us right here. Right. So the connection with the Nazis and then the proliferation of this idea through so-called Hollywood. All right. Now, how Hollywood has continued this idea and made it very credible. All right. They have made this very credible based on that. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm looking at some of these pictures right here. You know, yeah, space creatures. Yeah, all right. But you get it. You get it right here. All right. See, the deception means that there's some truth to it. But then there is the lies where they're telling us the truth, but they're also covering up. It's like they are kind of revealing, right? They are kind of revealing and concealing, right? They're revealing, but they're concealing. Or they know that enough has gotten out there, and enough is out there in the general, among the public, right? Enough is out there amongst the public that they can't just say, okay, well, nothing's going on. All right. You see what I'm saying? So what they have to do is give another narrative. They got to they got to control the narrative. That's what they have managed to do. They have managed to control the narrative. All right. But if we are able to unplug, right? If we are able to be free and know the truth, right? And as they say, open up your eyes, right? I mean, I think people's eyes are open, but it's like their eyes are wide shut. You know, they're seeing what they see, right? But they're continuing to disbelieve. That's what's really going on. They're seeing what they see, but they are continuing to disbelieve of all the evidence, right? If we just look at the fact that the proof is in the pudding. I mean, remember this over here? This was interesting. This was this old, like growing up, this is the kind of stuff that used to be on TV a lot, right? This would be like, that was, I forget the name of Bobby Robbie or something. Bobby or Robbie the robot. You know what I mean? So that was back in those days. And then we have stuff like this back in these days. All right. So we're not to believe the reality that's around us. You know, we're not to believe our own experience. Right. Stop the rise of the Black Messiah. Right. I think that tall white Nephilims, yeah, that's what they would be about. Right. That makes a lot of sense. Right. When they say God is black, Christ is black, and they seek to stop the rise and the persecution of black people and deceiving of white people too, you know, getting white people to actually, you know, go for it, even though there's no benefit to them. Right. So they also are deceived. Remember it says that the serpent, you know, the Satan has deceived the whole world. Right. The space aliens kill him. White men killed him, right? Who killed Kennedy? White men. Right. Tall white men, Nephilim, Satan, angels, demon-possessed white men. You get it. You get it. And this does not mean that black men cannot be possessed too. What we're just stating is the basic facts. You know what I mean? Who's in control and what is the roles they play? All right? They say this man killed him. They say that man killed him. Was the killing of Kennedy a white-on-white crime? Let's ask that question. Was the killing of Kennedy a white-on-white crime? Right? Was it white-on-white crime? The killing of Kennedy. In fact, we might even just experiment with that in the next video. I'm looking through some stuff right here. See what we pick up immediately. just in this little expanded search right over right over here. All right. And give thanks. If you care to share, give thanks and beware. All right. One love. Where it began is where it ends. We've been dumbed down and hoodwinked and bamboozled, right? That most would dismiss this like as a goofy, space aliens. While it's the only thing that explains that which, especially lost, found, black and brown, keep asking why? It actually explains the whole thing. Is the white man the devil? This also kind of explains, is the white man the devil, right? Question, are there tall, white, be a quick rebut to this Huffington Post cover story article where it says tall white Nazi space aliens are not, we repeat, not invading. Well, of course they are not, you repeated, not invading, because they've already have invaded. They're already here. They're already assimilating. Many have already been assimilated. You know what I mean? Each title here, where they tall white Nazi aliens are not invading. Why are tall Nephilim, so-called white Nazi aliens or fallen angels not invading? Because they've already here. They've already been here for more than 1945 it said, but actually they said from the 30s. Even Barack Obama might be a possible byproduct of such. You see what I'm saying? For all that we know. But let's get off of Obama for a moment and get on this article here. So Huffington Post is playing its part. What do we mean by Huffington Post playing its part? We go into this in a little more detail, but we thought that we just would post up a vid just to this. They've already been here for a good moment. And according to the scriptures, they were here even back, after the beginning. They were here after the beginning, and now they have returned before the end, right? And now what they're seeking to do is to debunk this as the craziest conspiracy theory. But actually, it's the most obvious. This shows how much we